I was heading off on an overnight ride with my KTM 390 Adventure when the mileage was approaching the 600-mile mark. That's when the first oil change needs to be done. I didn't have time to go to the dealer because I was leaving the next day on my overnighter, so I decided to go ahead and change the oil myself. Now I know there's other YouTube videos out there about changing the oil on the KTM 390 Adventure, but I thought I'd go ahead and film it and post it here. Maybe I'm doing a little bit different than others, maybe not. But anyhow, here is my first oil change on my KTM 390 Adventure. I'm heading out on my first overnighter in just a couple days, and I've got about 600 miles on the KTM 390 Adventure, so it's time for its first service, first oil change, which I'm going to do right here in my garage. So if you're interested in seeing how I fumble through that, stick around for this little video. What I understand to do first, though, is I'll need to start the engine, make sure it's in neutral here, and let it warm up a little bit before I start changing the oil. So right now I just have 2 bars on the temperature. I'll let it go up a little bit more. Alright, I've been running it for a few minutes. I'm up to 3 bars, which is about the operating temperature when I ride it. So we'll call it good. Shut it off. And the next step is to remove the bash plate. I have the stock OEM bash plate on here. Use this hex driver to remove the screws. I'll do that. I've got the bash plate off, and you'll notice that not all the screws, the bolts, are the same size. So there are 3 of them that are longer than the remainder. So you're going to want to note where on the bash plate these 3 longer screws go back to, so you don't mix them up. So make a note. I also saw here, I was on a training ride a week or 2 ago, and I did manage to hit a rock on this bash plate, and I'm kind of glad that I had this here. It's just a little cheap piece of aluminum. The rest of the bash plate is plastic, but this did help to prevent probably some damage to my engine. So I might invest some money in a real bash plate. This one's just probably good for going over gravel, but not for going over rocks. You may also note that I have a block of wood underneath my kickstand. The kickstand got bent when I was in training, fell over and bent it. And so I've been trying to get it back, but I've ordered a new kickstand. It's just not here yet. Hopefully that'll straighten out the problem. The other thing is I do want to get the bike you know, as level as I can when I'm changing the oil to make sure the oil drains out. The next step is to remove the drain plug on the left side of the motor of the engine and drain the oil into a receptacle. Uses a 18mm wrench. And next there's an oil screen that I'm going to remove here using a pair of pliers. There it is. I'll clean that all up. It's got a bunch of gunk and junk on it. So next I'll inspect the plugs to be sure that the O-rings are okay, and that looks okay, and inspect this filter. Now I'm going to clean it with a cleaning agent that I've got here. Kind of clean it out. I'll use an air compressor too to get all this gunk out of here. I'll spray some on my camera. But get this all cleaned up before I put it back in. All right, I'll clean out the filter here using my air compressor after I've put solvent on it. Now I did buy a kit online which has the oil filter, which I'm definitely going to change, But it also comes with the other filters, the inline filters, like the one that I just cleaned here. It's got the same one here. So I'm going to debate whether to keep this one and use it again, or and save the new one for the next oil change, since this is the 600-mile oil change, which I probably am. If this is in good shape, I'll go ahead and reuse this and save this for the next oil change. Also comes with O-rings, which is nice and handy if I need to replace those too. Another drain plug in the front of the bike where the exhaust is, and I'll try to see if you can see it. I've got a hex wrench there, but there is another plug right up here that needs to be drained, and there's a filter in that too. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get that removed with this hex wrench. So this takes a 13mm wrench. It's a little bit difficult to get in there. I'll see if I can get it off. Well, here comes the oil. I'll have to get the nut out of there now. Okay, it came out really easily, and here's the drain filter that's on it that I can clean up and reuse or replace with the new ones I've got. I'll decide in a minute. And I'll spray it clean again. Just get some solvent on there, and then I'll take it out and blow it through my compressor. Okay, I'm going to clean out this the drain area. It's pretty clean, but let me just wipe it a little bit. Make sure there's nothing coming out. Wipe it off the exhaust. And I'm putting the drain screen back in. And I think push it till it clicks. Well, it helps if you put the screen in the right way. I was putting it in backwards, so put it in the right way, press it, there, and it clicks into place. So now I can put the nut back on and get my torque wrench. Okay, I heard a click. It's 13 nanometers of torque. Okay, now I'll put the other drain screen in the bolt that goes with it. It's a bit hard to get to. $11 nanometers of torque on this one, and I can hear it going. That's it right there. Don't want to over tighten it, break the engine block. So now I want to take off the primary oil filter, and uses an 8mm socket. So I can get this off my fingers. Okay, here's the plug. I'll check the O-ring in a minute, and if it's okay, I'll keep it. If not, I've got a spare to replace it. And I'm using a small screwdriver to remove the filter, just to get it out of here started. Well, I'll try a pair of pliers. It's a little tricky to get out. I'm going to try 2 pliers. I'm not having any luck. It's just sliding around. Well, this guy's difficult to get out, but since I'm changing the filter, throwing this one away, I'm going to use a destructive method. There, I just put a screw in there and grabbed it with the screw and pulled it out. Sometimes, I've done that before on automobiles when it's been difficult, so. I'm going to lean the bike over to get the residual oil out. I don't want to lean it too far, so I don't want to lose control of it. Okay, now I'll use a rag and clean out the rest of the oil, whatever else is in there. Okay, now I've got the new oil filter. I'll put that in. Make sure it's in the right way. It's seated in there. There, it goes in. There's a little bit of a seating. There it is. You can see maybe a little bit how it needs to be set in there and seated. And then I decided to go ahead and replace the O-ring, which I've got here. That one looked like it was maybe deteriorating a little bit. It's hard to tell, but I'll be safe on this one here and put this all back together. And I'm not sure if it makes a difference or not, but there's lettering on the top of the casing here, which should go up. So the lettering doesn't go down, the lettering faces up when you put this back. Okay, I torqued down the 8mm nuts here, and we're all set to add some engine oil. Take out the oil filler plug. And see if this fits like that. Now the oil that it takes is a synthetic blend. This is SAE 15W50. That's what they recommend. These are 2 liters. Each of these are a liter, and the engine will take 1.7 liters. Now this is pricey stuff. This is $25 a liter, which seems to me to be awfully expensive, but fortunately it only takes 1.7 liters, so go ahead and add it in there. And the next move is to put the bash plate back on. Okay, now I'm gonna turn the motor on and let it run a little bit just to get the oil circulated. Make sure it's in neutral. Okay, that's enough. Now I'm going to go check the oil level and see if it's fine or if I need to fill it up a little more. Okay, I checked, I got a little flashlight here and checked the oil level, and I don't see any oil in it, so I'm going to add a little bit more to it. Okay, as you saw, I had a stand which I put the bike on to keep it level to check the oil, and I didn't put a lot of pressure on it because that bash plate's not very sturdy, but enough to keep the bike straight so I could check the engine oil. So I think that's it. I'm going to go out and take it for a test ride, check the oil again when I get back here, just go a few miles. But I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you next time on one of my senior moments.